Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 193 in the book of Genesis. Today is a bit of a review. I'll never read Genesis, so give me 7 pearls. So perhaps we're looking at highlights today of a book I'll never read. I hope you do read it. Or features that I know I should read, or notable. Maybe we're looking today at notable pearls from a book I did read, but then I forgot. So we've walked through Genesis for almost 200 days, and we're letting Genesis have a little walkabout within us. We asked you to habit stack this activity. When you get your coffee or whatever, that this would be a part of your day, or some people listen in the shower or on their commute. Let me give you 7 things that I think are worth remembering from the book of Genesis. There's lots of them. Number one, that Genesis's first day was not God's first day. So this is the thought that's way out of our pay grade, is that the first day was not his first day. So the book begins in the beginning, but it isn't the start of the story. The start of the story was God was around before that. He antecedes creation. In other words, God was big before there was even a big bang, or however you want to understand creation. All right, number 2, which is my biggest thought, and I'm going to come back to this time and time again, is that God leans into this story. He demonstrates that you and me are loved. So the biggest picture is when Adam and Eve, they sin, they're in the garden, they're naked and ashamed, they make fig leaves, and then God's there, and God could choose to go away. And without God's presence, we'd live on planet loneliness. But he turns into Adam and Eve. He meets them again, asks them questions, and starts this redemptive process that lasts for the whole Bible. This demonstrates to me that you and me are of ultimate and exclusive value to the Lord. So we are uniquely and especially created. And now that when we sin, God wants us back. I mean, it's just God's desire for us. It just blows my mind. All right, number 3 is God made a place for us. In other words, you are so special. I made a special place for you. He made us a secret place, not so secret. He didn't have to. He didn't have to make it beautiful. We will live in a place where we can we can never say to the sun, hey, I have no more need of you. No, we need this creation right now. We're not people that can say, I have no need for this creation. There's no such person that says, I don't need the sun or God's creation. So he's given us this special geographical place. Then, after settling the physical stuff, then the spiritual stuff can, and the relational stuff with him can happen. So he's given us this great environment. Okay, number 4. So we are created to do a job. So one of the ways we image bear with God is that we should be demonstrating particular characteristics of God. Now, he had dominion over the earth in his creation, and then asks us, sort of distributes that to us as well. So he's given us something special to do somewhere. So upon this place, this planet, we rule supreme. We are masters of this domain. So we seek to understand it and study it and appreciate it. And the take-home point for each of us is, likely, God has given us dominion over something. Even if you're a child, you may have dominion, let's say, over a pet. So physically, God's given us some area to rule over, and probably in responsibility is really a good way to think of. How has God given you dominion over something? For each of us, he's given us the burden of command over some sort of a command. So he's charged us with, maybe it's dominion over families, or dominion at work, or dominion in a church setting. So work here is not, a bad thing. It's created before the fall. It's a good thing. It's not at the result of sin. Work is a blessing. Work is commissioned by God. So we're supposed to have dominion, and there's nothing to see a man in full, or a mother in full, or a pastor in full, or a lawyer in full. There's nothing better to see a person working the ground that he or she has been given to them, whether that be a farmer or an engineer or a doctor or whatever. All right, number 5. So time is even a creation. This is all just mind-blowing things that's in Genesis. First he makes time, and then God steps into time. And he didn't have to do that. So again, this just demonstrates his great love for us. He didn't have to count to 7, count to 6 then, and then count to 7 for a day of rest. What we see God enter time, we're going to see it literally when Jesus makes the incarnation. We see little bits of that through the book of Genesis as well. He emphasizes time by making a Sabbath. It's like that moment after a song where the song ends and before the applause, and that Sabbath is that moment where we rest and we think and we ponder what just happened. So God makes time for us to do the timely things he has for us. He paints every day with a bit of urgency, at least opportunity, for time won't last forever. Then number 6, God made you. He made you special, desired, unique, full of the most rare element in the world, which is not carbon, helium, nitrogen, tin, or gold. The most rare element is the breath of God. So he's placed his attention upon us in a very special way. So he's given us a place, he's given us life, he's given us a job, and he's given us the attention of himself to lean in and help us when we need it. We can't leave Genesis here today without talking about inclinations. So number 7, the 7th thing I want you to remember is that our inclinations aren't so good. So it starts with the story of Adam and Eve. They bristled against God. They wanted something they shouldn't have. They didn't want the one limitation that they had, and they wanted to step over the line and transgress and rebel against him. It's the theme that every person has to address. So likely you will come up with some boundaries that you will want to cross. So we see trust issues in Genesis, in every Genesis biblical character, in Sarah and Hagar and Jacob, Abraham, every single one of them. So even these people that we refer to now as spiritual giants, they all deal with what Adam and Eve dealt with on the first days. And you can't read Genesis without seeing yourself there. That if your heart bends away from God, welcome to humanity and welcome to the Bible. Genesis, and then ask for help. So Lord, bend my heart, that no means no, that you are Lord. Bend my heart, that you have this for me and I'm going to be satisfied with this. So we can't read Genesis and not see a God who's pursuing us and helping us with our inclinations. All right, that's 7 things for today. Stick around tomorrow. Likely we'll have a couple more for us. Thanks.